Did you know something new is invented every 10 minutes? Join us as we speak to the innovators reinventing our world here on planet Earth and far, far beyond. Welcome to GTWN Now, a podcast brought to you by the Global Telecom Women's Network and sponsored by CMS Global. GTWN Now introduces the movers and the makers at the cutting edge of technology who are committed to keeping us all connected. In each episode, we invite a leading expert to share her experience building life-changing inventions in places and spaces that don't yet exist, and the inspiration they must muster to tackle the impossible. We also ask our guests to share tips, tools, and strategies to reach your own moonshot. I'm your host, Rosali Gitau, founder of Bixi FinTech for Women and Global Telecom Women's Network International Board member. Welcome to GTWN Now. Today's episode will be hosted by Candace Johnson, founder of the Global Telecom Women's Network. Candace was born into a family where her father worked on the first satellites for the U.S. government. He spearheaded the world's first private satellite system and was lent by the U.S. Air Force to the White House to work on the Apollo mission. Candace has always felt that space was not only her destiny, but that of humanity, and that it should be accessible to all. Decorated by the Luxembourg and German governments respectively as commander and officer of their respective orders of merit, Candace is also the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the World Communications Awards, the Global Telecom Women's Networks, the International Alliance for Women, just to name a few. Candace also graduated from such prestigious universities as Stanford, the Sorbonne, and Vassar, and has always been guided by a strong sense of personal responsibility.
We are delighted to have Victoria Hernandez, GTWN President Europe, European Innovation Council Fund jury member, and former executive chair of Orange Spain and senior international vice president Proximus, to give us a primer on digital humanism and to prepare the series going forward. Victoria, thank you so much for being with us. And can you please tell us what is digital humanism?
Thank you, Candace. It's a pleasure to join you and explore such an important and timely topic. The way we approach technology today will define not just our businesses, but the kind of society we leave behind for our future generations. Let me start by posing a question to our listeners and to you. In a world increasingly driven by algorithms, data, and automation, who's really in control? Is it us, the leaders and creators, or the very systems we have built? This question lies at the heart of digital humanism, which isn't just about technology, but about how we shape it to serve humanity. So, to go straight on to your question, Candace, digital humanism is the belief that humans, not algorithms, profit motives, or technological efficiency, should be at the center of how we design, develop, and use technology. Imagine this. You're scrolling through your phone, and AI curates your news, filters your search results, and decides what you see and don't see. At first glance, this seems convenient, but step back for a moment. Who programmed those algorithms? Whose values are embedded in them? Digital humanism reminds us that technology is not an unstoppable force. It's a tool. Unlike any tool, its purpose is determined by the hands that wield it. At its core, digital humanism is about ensuring that technology reflects our highest ideas: fairness, empathy, democracy, and equity. It challenges us to ask not just what we can build, but why and for whom. Think of it as a compass, guiding innovation to serve humanity, not exploit it. In essence, digital humanism is not just a concept, it is a movement, a call for leaders in every single industry to ensure technology builds a future we can be proud of. I think it's hope it answered your first questions, Candace.
Well, thank you so much, because quite frankly, it gives me hope, Victoria. And so, when did this concept of digital humanism begin? Is it a recent development, obviously, with the whole digital transformation, or, does it have deeper roots?
Well, let's say that the digital humanism, the name was coined about 7, 8 years ago. I think it was Garner who basically give this name. It has been taking momentum about 4 years ago with the Vienna Manifesto. But let's say that the roots go back on time in previous times. Okay, so let me take you a journey back in time. First of all, to the Renaissance. We are talking about from the 15th to close to the 17th century, a period that redefined humanity's place in the world. An example of Renaissance men is Leonardo da Vinci. Look, he was an engineer, and brilliant, an incredible, a master painter. He succeeded in blending art and science to push boundaries and inspire generations. Fast forward afterwards. In the 18th century, we are in the Enlightenment period, or what we call the period of reason. Some of the major actors were, for example, Voltaire, and the critical thinking, the freedom, the human rights were at the front. These eras remind us of humanity's potential to create profound change when innovation is guided by values. You see, today we stand at a similar crossroad. Digital humanism is our modern renaissance and enlightenment, an opportunity to redefine progress in ways that align with the well-being of society, just as leader of the past balanced innovation with humanity. So we must in this age of technology. So you see, we are in an incredible and an exciting and risky moment, and challenging moment as well. So yeah.
So, yeah. So this is just so enlightening. And I think you've really kind of touched on why digital humanism is so important in our world today. Can you also give us some examples, some practical examples of how digital humanism can be applied in real world scenarios, and how perhaps digital humanism can address challenges like misinformation, surveillance, or AI bias?
Okay, I will start. Why digital humanism matters, basically, okay, because you might have the certain idea, okay, this is a philosophical talk where we have seen across history that previous crucial moments for humanity have reshaped completely our societies, cultures, have given birth to new civilizations, basically. Why it matters, and I would say this especially to leaders, because technology is no longer just a tool to streamline processes. It's shaping culture, it's shaping economies and governance. Think of the financial sector. Algorithms determine credit worthiness, in healthcare, AI, diagnosis, illness, in policy making, data analytics drive decisions. These advancements are incredible, but they come with risk. They come with bias in AI, erosion of privacy, and decisions made with limited accountability. So digital humanism offers a framework to mitigate such risk. It ensures that technology enhances human dignity rather than undermining it. It pushed us to ask, are we building systems that we can trust? Systems that can create opportunity rather and equity rather than amplifying inequality. So this is why it matters so much. And for all of us, and in particular the leaders and the stakeholders, okay? So I think that from the stakeholder perspective, here is where the conversation gets practical. Let's say, whether you're a CEO in tech, a policymaker drafting regulations, or an investor funding the next big innovation, digital humanism is directly impacting your job, your work, okay, and your business. For the tech leaders, the next frontier, I would say, isn't just innovation, it's trust. Building ethical AI, addressing bias, and being transparent with users will define which companies thrive. And when I mean trust, is trust from your customers, for your investors, for your business partners, and this in general for every single industry. Can we trust, that this is not just about IT? Can I trust the systems of such or company or such corporation or such industry? You see, for policymakers, crafting frameworks like GDPR, for example, is just the beginning. We know it's not perfect, but it's the most advanced privacy law in the world, which has been transported to many other countries outside Europe. In fact, but this is not about, regulating all the time. We need regulations that balance innovations with accountability, which I would say is a key word right now. We cannot stop. We do not have to stop innovation. We cannot stop progress, but we need accountability in the ones who develop such systems and ensure that technology doesn't erode democracy. You see, and for investors, I would say that ethical technology isn't just a moral imperative; it's an opportunity. ESG, environmental, social, and governance criteria are shaping investment decisions, and business that align with digital humanism will attract both capital and talent. Okay, no matter your sector, the principles of digital humanism, accountability, equity, and sustainability are the building blocks of resilient leadership in the digital age and future digital civilization. Okay, I think I hope I answered to it's all each one of these subjects. We could make a podcast, and I think it is going to be the case, Candace, for what I understand.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, you really have laid out so beautifully the subjects that we will be addressing in this digital humanism series, and we are very excited to continue on exploring how we can really bring digital humanism into every single part of our lives and be really the deciding factor, as you have said. Um, you know, when we are looking and going forward, what do you see as the biggest challenges to bring about digital humanism, to make certain that it is the humans guiding our actions, our thoughts, etc. How do you see this actually happening?
Well, basically, you are asking me where do we go from here? Well, I would like to start with the opportunities, of course. Uh, just imagine an inclusive digital platforms that amplify marginalized voices and connect global communities. Okay, think of AI systems that not only predict climate change patterns but help us act on them. Picture a future where digital tools enhance education, making learning accessible to millions. Okay, and where basically AI is going to empower the teachers and the pupils, but not substituting teachers, which should be the wrong road, let's say. Okay, the technology and innovation, all these marvelous tools, the tools can take us to a very bright future, but there are risks, as I have mentioned, and there are challenges. Okay, we have the digital divide, still leaves millions of people without access, but I have to highlight that the digital divide, which was, I think, the subject was of our previous GTWN edition, precisely the digital divide. But I would like to clarify that digital divide is about access. The world is divided in between the people who have access to such tools, connectivity, etc., and the ones who doesn't. But this is not enough giving access. Just imagine that we have universal access. Still, we need the tools that will be available, the AIs, etc., are properly designed, as we were discussing before. But there still remains a big subject, the digital divide. Algorithm bias is another big challenge that we have, because if we don't sort it out, what we want to do is to perpetuate inequality, okay, amplify bias, okay, and profit-driven priorities often clash with the ethical considerations. You see companies that are, or business models that are profit by profit. Of course, we are all of us looking for business, that we need a healthy economy, but that is encompassing the ethical consideration. So digital humanism doesn't ignore these realities. We are not naive, basically. It confronts them head on. It calls on leaders to bridge these divides, to rethink how we measure success, and to build technology that uplifts humanity, basically. Okay, so this is some of these challenges are basically systemic. Let's say it's not going to be easy, but I would say it's not impossible. These are not unsurmountable. We have seen in previous eras of humankind how we have been able to adapt and overcome whenever we have a clear vision where we want to go, which is the society that we want and we envision in the future, that we are capable, more than capable to do it. But it's a work of for all of us.
Yeah, here again, this is just so inspiring, really, and giving hope, where it's a little bit difficult to find hope when you are in this forest and surrounded by trees, and sometimes the light does not come through. And yet, as you say, we have always, and humanity has always gone forward. And I think people talk about progress, and it's not clear exactly how progress is defined. But I think that if we can talk about bringing about positive change and always, adhering to the roots of our humanity, our DNA, if you would like to say, a topic, by the way, which we will be covering in our next podcast. I think we will hopefully succeed. So Victoria, you've painted a very, very clear and comprehensive picture of what digital humanism is, its foundations, very, very interesting. It's the challenges, but most importantly, the opportunities. So, what do you see as the next step? What is maybe your call to action?
Well, before answering to this question, I would like to comment into what you were just saying, because um, for some of the listeners might be thinking, oh my God, this is such an idealistic route. This is going to be almost impossible. I would send the message that nothing is impossible. As Einstein said, nothing is impossible, only mathematically improbable, which means in this particular case might be difficult. But why I was using as well the examples in history, where are we coming from, which were the previous movement, because think about it, the Renaissance, basically, we gave away the humanity, move forward from the feudal system. So basically, if at the time you would have asked an Earl, okay, you will not be anymore, the master of lives, etc., of your servants, he would have said, well, that's absolutely impossible, and we did it. And with Enlightenment, the 19th century, we gave away slavery. And at the time, if you had asked the people in this society at the very beginning, was this going to succeed, would have said, it's impossible. And we did it. So you see, this is going likely to take time. It's a huge challenge we have in front of us, but we are going to do it. Candace, I don't know, you and I, how much we are going to see of all of that, but it is clear that our next generations will do it. Likely we, you and I, and our GTWN network will see it. This is something that which is visible, and I think it's important. It's important to say. The other aspect in terms you were asking me in terms of the vision for the future. Let me paint you a picture of what's possible. So imagine a digital world where data is a tool for empowerment, not exploitation. Okay. But for empowerment as well, we will need to empower citizens. Okay, today we are talking so much about the responsibility in terms of the voters. We want voters who are informed in our democratic systems. But when you think about that everything goes digital today, we need digital citizenship, informed citizens, so they can ask as well for their digital rights. Okay, so this is one question that we need to think about. Think about algorithms that reflect the diverse perspective and dismantle bias. Okay, instead of amplifying it, this will be an incredible tool, to let's say, for example, in the healthcare area, where all people, all patients will be treated, where we are going to give doctors, the possibility to concentrate in strengthening and maintaining the close relationship with their patients. Okay, because they have systems which are unbiased and perfectly transparent to help them to take the best decisions, which can be applied to many other sectors. We could talk as we can envisage a future where the technology doesn't exhaust the planet, but it heals it. And we can see in AI many responses that we can do today, but we know that the climate change is an hyper object. It crosses boundaries, geographies, cultures, but is with this kind of a fair AI system that we could do so many things in healing the planet. So this isn't just a vision. By the way, this is a responsibility. And as leaders, we have the power to shape the digital civilization that will define the next century. The question is, will we lead it with courage and foresight? This will be a question that we will need to answer, Candace.
And Victoria, thank you so much. You really have paved the way for us to now explore digital humanism and all of these possibilities that you have mentioned in the next weeks during our podcast series, GTWN Now. I thank you so much for actually having inspired us to choose this topic, such an important topic in our times and in our lives, and to have given this first introduction to us. And I thank you on behalf of our listeners and our community.
I would like to give a couple of messages, Candace, if you allow me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just go ahead.
I would like to send as well. I would like to take the opportunity to dismantle big fake news. Is the fact that please don't blame technology for the problems of our society. Okay, and I think this is an important message. The technology, disinformation, unemployment, this is not the fault of technology. Okay, technology and innovation is going to amplify the existing problems of our society. Technology is a tool, and a marvelous tool. What digital humanism, and I think this is an important message as well for everybody, is going to do is to amplify the existing problems that have our society. And digital humanism, what does it as well, is a mirror. Basically does give us the opportunity to uphold this mirror, to look at us and say, okay, what is wrong with our society? So this is giving us as well the opportunity to separate both, okay, and to understand that technology is a tool, but the problems that our society may have, need to be sorted out at the level of the society, and then technology will be a tool to help us healing it. The flaws of our society, or even of our behaviors. And I think this is an important message to give, because we are not idealistic, naive, and at the same time we need to put things at the right place. Okay, so. My final message, Candace, will be that at its heart, digital humanism, is about reclaiming our role as architects of our digital future. It's a call for action for all of us, whether if we are in boardrooms, courtrooms, or classrooms. This is our moment to ensure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around. And as leaders, the decision we make today will ripple through generations. Let's not leave this to chance. Let's work together to build a digital-first civilization that reflects our highest values and leaves no one behind. This will be my last message. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
I want to thank our guest for joining today's episode of GTWN Now, and give a big thank you to our sponsors, CMS Global, for making this episode possible. Today's podcast will be available on our website, gtwn.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when new episodes drop. I'm your host, Rosalie Gitau, GTWN International Board Member, wishing you a week of wonder.